Hi there. Thank you for those who are tuning in to the 7 p.m. class. My name is Julia, and today we are going to be working with an abundance of our hips and lower core today. So, with that being said, go ahead and prop up. What we're going to need for props are 2 blocks, a blanket, and possibly a pillow. I'm going to go ahead and write it down here because I need to go get a drink of water real quick. Um, blocks times 2, blanket. Okay, so those are going to be the props. I'll be right back. I need to get some agua real quick. Hi, Bubba. How you doing? He's going to answer. Alrighty, there we are. Alright, I'm going to try to fidget with this camera a little bit so we get a little better angle over here. Good. Ooh. Okay, there we are. Awesome. Hi, everybody. How we doing? Can't really hear on that side, but welcome to the 7 p.m. class. My name is Julia. If you haven't been to any of my classes before, thank you so much for attending the 7 p.m. class, as well as if you were here for the 6 p.m. class. Thanks again for tuning on in as we tune more in depth with our core practice today. Whew. Just taking a breather from last practice. It got my quads on fire. So expect that in today's class. Excuse me. So I see that there are others that are still joining in. And for those who are still trying to tune in and join the 7 p.m. class, just letting you know that to grab 2 blocks. And if you don't have 2 blocks in your own space, I recommend grabbing like maybe 2 books that are roughly the same size, just something to help balance you out here. And I would grab yourself a pillow, because for some practices we need to have the block in between. So if a book's a little uncomfortable, you have at least like a pillow instead to place in between. And then a blanket. So we're going to be working in today's practice a lot with our lower abs, our hips, and our quadriceps for today's practice. Trying to give you a little bit more of a oomph or more of a workout into our yoga today. I had several different types of like questions and mixed in with requests. Some of them were grouped into prop usage at home and what we could do to make our yoga more into a workout in times where we want a little fire into our practice, bringing a little more energy. And so I decided to create some classes where we can make it a little more into a workout than just a, just like a typical yoga stretching type of class. But yeah, so go ahead and grab your 2 blocks, and you could grab one to start and make sure that the other one is near the front of the mat here today. And as you grab your block, we are going to go ahead and place it underneath our sitting area. So for those who have to work at home or are finding themselves having to stay inside more due to work and all of that sorts, and if you're trying to work more on your posture, or discipline yourself to, work more with a straight spine and whatnot, I would recommend while you are working, while you're watching TV, if you know that you're going to sit for a while, to grab a block or maybe a thick pillow, something that is strong in structure, and place it underneath your sit area so that you can influence yourself to align your posture as you sit. Because I am one of the many folk who has to stay like inside for work during this time. And so I'm finding myself starting to feel a little more tight in my spine and hunching a little more. And that's because I'm not disciplining myself as much as I should. And so I've been trying to sit on my block so that I can work with my posture. So hopefully, that will help you with your personal practice and where you're at working or sitting at home or, just anything of that sort. So as you go ahead and place a block underneath your sitting area and find yourself into a straight spine. Oh, my dog's going outside. I can hear him being excited. You can go ahead and start to take your shoulders up to your ears and exhale, rotate them back, finding that straight, strong spine. Already finding that engagement to the lower core. As well as we want to find some engagement in our chest, finding ourselves not only lifted upwards, but coming out a little forwards, keeping our strong lower spine so that we're not overarching into the lumbar. Good. You go ahead and take these deep inhalations, inhaling through the nose and out, exhaling out the nose as well. Keeping this strong posture and the shoulders away from our ears, allowing our rib cage to fully expand front and back and side to side as we go through these inhalations. Either with the eyes open or the eyes closed as we work through our breath here. Just allowing the word strength to influence you throughout your practice. And like I said it before in the beginning of last class, if you were present or may not have been, strength doesn't always have to be a physical aspect or a physical word. Strength can also come from your will. It could come from your courage. Strength can come from your inspiration. And it can come from, inspiration and just anything that makes you feel strong in any activity or any thinking or just anything that you are doing. So today, let strength be present into our practice in the physical, intellectual, and into the spiritual sense today. Bringing our palms up to the sides. Inhale, rise, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling. And then palms together, exhale to the heart center. Setting an intention for your practice today. Good. Create the Kali Mudra. Left pinky finger is going to go underneath the right. It's going to kind of feel a little funky here. And create a gun, thumbs to touch, index to touch. Rotate your shoulders back into the girdle and extend your arms forward, engaging through the core. Good. So I'm Charlie and everyone, y'all are my angels. Good. Got our guns going here. Shoulders are rotated back, engage the core. Inhale, bringing the arms up towards the ceiling. And as our arms are towards the ceiling, we're going to inhale, side bend over towards the right side of the room, rooting through the left knee and through the left hip. Good. Extending our Kali gun towards the right side, lifting up through the chest as we bend here for 2 more breaths. Inhale, rise, chest up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, start to side bend over towards the left side, rooting through the right knee. 3 more breaths. Wonderful. Inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release. We're going to come into a twist. Lift through the chest to the right side. Left hand to the thigh, right arm behind. Lifting up through the chest. The back hand is just a guide. It's not a kickstand. And so this block underneath us is encouraging us to keep our spine erect as we twist here. As we dive deeper into this twist, we're going to keep the posture, but on our next inhale, take the eye gaze over the left shoulder. For 2 more breaths, total of 3. All right, inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling, creating the cactus arms. Return to the center, and then inhale, twist over towards the left side. Right hand to the left thigh, left arm is behind. Staying nice and tall and erect with their spine. I use over the right shoulder or left shoulder for 2 more breaths. And then on our next inhale, we can then take your eye gaze over the right shoulder for total 3 breaths. And the next breath after the 3, inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to exhale, find this hip hinge forward fold. And so for some of us that may have a tight spine, can find some benefit here by sitting on the block because it's helping us lift our tailbone up and allowing us to find a straighter spine as we hip hinge here. So inhale, halfway lift. Good. Exhale, forward fold. And then as we find this hip hinge, making sure that we are in front of our mat here. We're just going to slowly come onto our knees. Good. Kick our block away. And then we bring our forearms to the mat, coming into a forearm plank. I know we're getting right into the core right away into our practice. So making sure that our elbows are underneath our shoulders and our hips are risen. We're finding this core engagement and engagement into the thighs here. We're going to stay here for 5 strong breaths. Good. Our thighs are on fire here. Our butt is strong. Our back core is strong. And then after those 5 breaths, we're going to go ahead and slowly bring the stomach down. Lift up through the chest. Scrub the hands forward. Sphinx pose. Inhale, take our eye gaze over the right shoulder. Exhale to the center. Inhale, eye gaze over the left shoulder. Good, eye gaze over the center. Slide your hands underneath your armpits. And inhale, rise into cobra. Shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, release. Curl the toes. Engage the core. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. This is our first down dog, so go ahead and pedal up through the feet. Bend the knees if you have to straighten out through the spine. Bring the tailbone up. Anything to find organic movement and some spinal elongation, as well as opening up through the hamstrings. Bend the knees generously, eye gaze forward, hop, step, walk to the front of the mat, Uttanasana, forward fold. And if the block that you were using for sitting is not at the front, go ahead and align it into the front of the mat with your other block here. And then you can come into your forward fold. Inhale, find that half lift. Exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. And then inhale, rise, arms up, engage the core, and rise, high mountain. And palms together, exhale, release, Samasthiti. Good. Inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling, engage through the core, and bring the tailbone back into chair. As you're here in the chair, stay here for 3 breaths. Press your feet into the mat and rip the mat in half with your feet. Good. The exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Inhale, find that half lift. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees, arms up. Inhale, rise, chair. 3 breaths, engage that core. Good. Then inhale, rise, high mountain, back bend. And then palms together, exhale, hip hinge. Good. And then the blocks are in front. Go ahead and place your feet on top of the blocks here. Good. And this is going to help us find more range of motion as we hip hinge here so that we can stretch out more through our spine. So bend the knees generously, bring the arms up. Inhale, chair for one breath. Inhale, high mountain, back bend. And then exhale, round through the shoulders, hip hinge, forward fold. Soften through the knees. Pressing your hands into the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your arms up, come into chair. And then inhale, high mountain, possible back bend if you wish. And then palms together, exhale, Samasthiti. Bend through the knees, hip hinge, soften through the spine. Press your hands into the floor or into the blocks here, into your feet. Find the inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees generously, engage the core, and inhale, chair for 3 breaths. And then inhale, rise all the way up, high mountain. And then press the palms together, exhale, Samasthiti. Good. And from here, we're going to go ahead and plant the left foot onto the block. And we're going to straighten through the left leg and inhale, bend the right knee up towards the chest. Good. As the right knee is up towards the chest, we're going to find this hip hinge. Come into warrior 3 for 1 breath. And then place the right foot down, coming into a high lunge. And so the front foot is still going to be onto the block here. We're having a little bit of elevation into the front hip. Finding that core engagement to help keep us stable. We're going to inhale, bring our arms up towards the ceiling. 2 breaths. Good. Press the left foot into the block. Inhale, bend the right knee up towards the chest, straighten out through the left leg. And then release the right foot on top of the block. And then we're going to switch to the other side. Inhale, bend the knee up towards the chest. Exhale, hip hinge, and come into a warrior 3. Good. And then drop the left foot, coming into a high lunge here. 3 breaths. To the 3 breaths. Press the right foot into the block. And inhale, bring the left knee up towards the chest. And exhale, release onto the block. Hip hinge, forward fold. Go ahead, hands to the blocks. Take your hands off the blocks. Good. And spread them about shoulder length apart, coming into a regular plank position. So go ahead, adjust your blocks. Engage the core. Good. And come into your plank. As we stay here in plank, our wrists are going to be underneath our shoulders, pressing your hands into the mat, lifting our spine in between our shoulder blades. Engage all the front core, the back core. Good. Stay here for 5 breaths. Good. And then after those 5 breaths, we're going to bend the knees, tailbone, spine is up towards the ceiling, tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then come into downward facing dog, root to the heels. Good. As we root through the heels, we're going to hip hinge forward, knees onto the mat, child's pose. Ooh, we already did so much in the 20 minutes. Less than that, actually, in 10 minutes. So that we could go ahead, come into tabletop position, and just place our hands behind the blocks. As our hands are directly underneath our shoulders, just coming into cat-cow position. So inhale into your cow spine, tailbone up, chest up. Then exhale into your cat. And go ahead and do this for a total of 4 times. Your own breath, your own pace. Finding some spinal elongation and warming up through the hips. Good. And then after a few of those breaths, sorry, making sure that music isn't too loud here. Okay, cool. And so then after those variations, we're going to go ahead and do a variation of a bird dog style, placing the right, so coming into like that balanced tabletop, we're going to place the right hand onto a block and the left knee onto the block. Good. So coming into this bird dog position, the left toes are off the block, the right foot is flexed towards the back of the room, and then the left arm is towards the front. As we find this imbalance here, lifting up through the chest, lifting up through the thigh, right leg straight back. Do 5, inhale, knee to elbow, and then exhale, release. And do it nice and gentle so that we can create this balance and that we can practice keeping our toes off the mat, our left toes that is, to make this a little more challenging. And then after you have done your 5, you can then go ahead and release. Slide the right block to the left side of your hand, left knee block to the right knee. Coming into that bird dog on the opposite side. Keeping the right toes pointed back, off the ground. Engage through the core, lift up here, left leg is flexed back and right arm is forward. Take a couple breaths to stabilize yourself into this balanced bird dog. Good, and once you feel balanced, 5 sets of inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, extend. Good, knee to elbow, inhale, and then exhale, extend. 3 more at your own pace and at your own breath. And then after you have done your set of 5, you can then very gently remove yourself off the blocks. Place your blocks to the side. And then come into a child's pose for a few breaths. So stretching out through the low spine. Catching a few of your breaths here. And go ahead and come into a tabletop position. Curl the toes, downward facing dog. We're going to root through the left heel, straighten out the right leg, and inhale, 3-legged dog. You're going to bend the right knee and then open up the hip crease, spreading the knees far apart for 3 breaths. Then we're going to go ahead and re-square through the hips. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, 3-legged dog. And do it for a total of 3 more times for a total of 5. And then after you've done that, after your last 3-legged dog, knee to nose, come into downward facing dog. Root through the right heel. Inhale, rise, left leg. Bend through the knee, and then open up your hip crease. Hinge at the hips, chest towards the ground. Good. Square through the hips. And then 5 times, inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, 3-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, 3-legged dog. But for your total of 5. And then after you've done your 5, feet to the ground, hinge forward, bend the knees, child's pose. So go ahead at this time if you need to do some wrist therapies, possibly clasping your hands together and rotating your wrists. Or maybe pressing the back of the hands together. You can also just create a fin with your hands and bringing the hands above your head. That will help rest your upper arms a little bit more. All right, and take this time too to get some H2O in your system. Good. Let's go ahead and get a little more yogi into this. So we're going to go ahead, return to your tabletop position. And as you are in your tabletop position, downward facing dog. Okay. From here, root through the left foot. Inhale, rise, right leg, 3-legged dog. Good, and then bend the knee, bring it up forward, and bring your right foot in between your palms here. Good. As you're in between the palms, inhale, rise, right arm towards the ceiling, twist. And then we're going to exhale, release. We're going to place the top of the left knee down, top of the left foot. Into your Anjaneyasana, engage the core, and inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. So we're going to find this lift through the chest in your Anjaneyasana. Tuck the tailbone. Keep the lower spine as neutrally straight, just so there's not an overbend. Good. A couple breaths as we find strength into this Anjaneyasana. We're going to go ahead and start to curl through the left toes and bring your arms back, Silver Surfer style, half splits. Come onto the heel of your right foot and bring your chest forward. Good. For a total of 4 more times, for a total of 5. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, Silver Surfer, half splits. Engage the core, engage the thighs. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, Silver Surfer, find your balance. Inhale, rise, arms up. Exhale, hip hinge. Good. Your own breath and your own pace. Good. And then once you have done your 5, come to your last Anjaneyasana, where your Anjaneyasana will be your 6. Lift up through the chest, create a little back bend here, Kali Mudra if you would like. Good. On the exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Into this forward fold, lift up to the left knee. Come into your plank position. Into your plank, vinyasa flow. Inhale, shift forward. Bend at the elbows, either down into cobra or coming up into your upward facing dog. Back bend of your choice. So allow yourself to make your way into your downward facing dog once you're ready. Pedal up through the legs and reset. Good. Root through the left, root through the right heel. Inhale, rise, left leg, 3-legged dog. Good. Bend the knee. Inhale, knee to nose, and left foot in between the palms. Twist. Left arm towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. Good. And then very slowly, bring the left hand down. Anjaneyasana with the right knee, top of the right foot. Find that core engagement. Chest is forward. Anjaneyasana. Inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and take a couple breaths to align your spine, align your space. Good. And warming up through the right quad. Warming up through the left hip hinge. Good. And then once you found a few breaths to warm yourself up here, we're then going to curl through the right toes. And 5 times. Inhale, half splits, Silver Surfer style. Engage the core, arms are back. Toes up, left heel down. Good. Exhale, Anjaneyasana. Inhale, Silver Surfer. Exhale, Anjaneyasana. 3 more times for a total of 5. Move slow and steady and concentrated so that we can move with elegance, grace, and most importantly, so that we are moving with alignment. Because I'm definitely less balanced on my left side. And that could be your left or it could be your right. And then once you went through your 5 times, go through your 6 Anjaneyasana. Bring your arms up, back bend here. Good. The exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. And then you know what to do. Come into plank and go through a vinyasa flow with a back bend of your choice. Coming into your downward facing dog. Good. Pedaling up through the legs. And inhale, shift forward, bend at the knees. And take a couple breaths into child's pose. And then coming out of your child's pose, we're going to go ahead and take the blocks and we're going to go ahead and bring them towards the front of the mat here. Good. And just like before, we were at the front of the mat and we were kind of going through some hip hinges. We're going to explore some of that a little more. And from here, we're going to place our left foot on top of the left block here. And then with the right block, we're just going to go ahead and kind of guide it towards the side a little bit. So from here, we're going to work on trying to keep a straight spine, kind of keep a structure with our left leg. And we're going to move more, finding some energetic lifts through the right leg. So what we're doing is we are working on strengthening our hip flexors at the same time, kind of finding that flexibility, as well as strengthening more through our glutes and through our quads here. So we're going to bring our palm to the heart center, and we're not going to come into a full warrior three. We're just going to keep our palms together, flex through the right foot, and then inhale, bring the right leg straight back, keeping your chest lifted. Then exhale, release, bring the right foot flexed near your left leg. Inhale, swing it back. Good, exhale, align with the left leg. And do this 3 more times for a total of 5. And this also is helping us condition and strengthening more through the left ankle. Move at your own breath, your own pace, trying to find a straight spine as we move here. Good. And then after you have done your 5, you can then go ahead and release. Then we're going to move with the right leg this time. So bringing the right block back in. Good. And we're going to move with the left side. So the right foot is going to be nice and strong onto the block. And we don't want the hip to ever come out. We want it to be nice and stacked on top so it's aligned with our ankle as best as we can. We're going to ignite the thigh, ignite the calf, and the butt cheek too. And we're just going to push the left block to the side so that we have room to swing here. Keep the left foot flexed. Find that core engagement. And we're going to inhale, flex the left leg back like you would a warrior 3. Keep the chest lifted. Good. Then exhale, bring the left foot down. 4 more times for a total of 5. Oh, hi, buddy. Good. We want to feel as strong as we can into our upper torso and to our lower spine. Good. And then after we have done our 5, good, you can then go ahead and very gently release, coming off the blocks. Just kind of windshield wiping through your knees here. Good. And then we're going to come into these lunges. So coming onto the blocks here. Good. And we're going to alternate through our feet here. So we want our blocks to be hip length apart. Good. And both feet are going to be onto the blocks here. And if you don't have blocks, like that's okay. Like the mat's going to work just as fine. This just creates a little more balance challenge here. So just on the mat is perfectly fine too. We're going to move the energy to our left leg, keeping it nice and strong and balanced. Flex to the right foot. And we're going to inhale, send the right leg, coming to warrior 3. Bend the left knee, drop the right foot, drop the right knee. Inhale, lunge. Rise, hip hinge through warrior 3. And then bend the right knee up. Place the right foot onto the block. Inhale, bend the left knee up. Flex the left foot. Come into that warrior 3 variation here. Good. Drop the left toes. Drop the left knee. Keep that core engaged. Inhale, lift up through the left knee. Rise, left knee up towards the chest. Place the left foot onto the block. We're going to do this 10 times, meaning 5 on the left and 5 on the right. So we're going to do it 8 more times or 9 more times. Or you know what I mean? So like we just did one on each side and we're going to continue to do 4 more on each side. That's what I was looking for, 8 more times. Cool. So left leg onto the left block. Let's go ahead and start now. 8 more times. Inhale, right knee up towards the chest. Flex the right foot. Warrior 3. Bring the right foot down. Right knee down. Inhale, straighten right knee. All the way up, bend right knee to chest. Right foot onto the block. Inhale, left knee up. Exhale, hip hinge. Send the left leg back. Drop the left toes. Drop the left knee. Inhale, straighten the left knee. Bend the left knee in towards the chest. Onto the block. Good. 6 more times. Inhale, right knee up towards the chest. Exhale, hip hinge. Right leg back. Right toes to the mat. Right knee to the mat. Inhale, right knee up. Right knee up towards your chest. Onto the mat. Block. Good. Inhale, left knee up. Hip hinge, back. Good. And you can go ahead and continue to do this at your own breath, at your own pace, so that I'm not distracting your count, because some of us may move faster than the rest of us, and some of us may move slower, and that is okay. Your own pace is your own practice. Oh my gosh, everybody's going to have the best booties when they come back into the gym. Going to rock a 12-pack and jump right into that. And remember to move yourself with some elegance and the grace so we can keep ourselves as intact and strong here. These are challenging, especially at a different height. Good, and I think that we should be each on our last set on each side. All right, after the last set, inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. Bend the knees softly. Exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Good. So go ahead and clasp the elbows together. And just allowing your spine to be nice and soft here. Taking a few breaths. Resetting from that practice. Good. And then you can very gently make your way off of the props. Good. And find your way near a wall if you have it. If you have a wall in your house, I don't know if you do. So go ahead and find your wall space and bring your blocks with you. So if you were here in the 6 p.m. class, we're going to be experiencing these same hip flexing openers, but we're going to create some strength in here as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find our spine to the wall and our shoulders behind our back here, coming into a very active staff pose. And you can grab your blocks, your books. And so if you have books at your house, in case you don't have blocks for later practice, you can definitely use that. And we're going to take a block to the outside of your right shin, and you're going to take it about maybe 4 to 6 inches. Good. And then the next block in between, let's say about 8 inches apart. Good. And you can adjust the width of whatever works for your flexibility here. But essentially, we're going to make sure that as we are here in the staff pose, that we keep our spine as straight as we can onto the wall and nice and strong and contacted so that we stay lifted. We're going to go ahead and point our toes towards the front of the room, keeping our hands pressed into the floor and pressing into the wall. We're going to engage the lower core, And we're going to inhale, rise, bringing the right foot up towards the ceiling and then over the first block. And then inhale, rise, lifting it up and bringing it back in front of that first block. Go ahead and do that 3 times. Making sure that we are using our core to lift. Good. And then slowly shake out the feet. Nice. And now we're going to explore this asana a little deeper here. I'm just going to fix myself. My mat's a little crooked. Yeah. And so we're going to go in a little deeper. So if you needed to make an adjustment, either bring the blocks closer or further away, go ahead and do so for yourself. Create the space that you need. We're all different. And we're going to do the same, except we're going to use 2 hurdles now. So finding our spine nice and connected to the wall here. Going to point the toes forward. Create a strong, active staff pose. Engage through the lower core, and then inhale, point your right toes up over the first block, and then over the second block. Exhale. Inhale, hurdle, hurdle, exhale. Good. Do it 3 more times. Actually 4 more for a total of 5. And I need back and forth. So that was 2. And that was 3. And that was 4. One more time. Oh my goodness. Go ahead. Hip hinge, forward fold. You know you want to. Woo. Quads are on fire tonight. Woo. Shake it out. Shake it out. Good job, everybody. Go ahead and switch the blocks to the other side. Okay. And so create the space that you think that you will need, and you can use like the first basis to know what your hip range is like. Mr. Sarge and his squirrel. You can go on a guy. So go ahead and point your toes to the front of the mat, and you want to point both toes, not just the one. You just want to have it actively flexed here. Good. Find your strong staff pose. Your shoulders are glued to the wall. Engage the core. And we're just using the first block 3 times. So inhale, or 5 times, I should say. Inhale once, over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shake it out. All right. After you find yourself reset, we're going to do 5 times of the 2 hurdles. Pointing the toes forward. Engage the lower core. Shoulders onto the mat or onto the wall. Good. On your next breath, inhale, toes pointed over. Exhale, release. Inhale, over. Exhale, release. That was 1. Do it 4 more times. That was 2. And that was 3. That was 4. Don't knock over the box. Ah! And that was 5. Oh my gosh. Hip hinge, forward fold. Good. Now you go ahead, shake everything out. And you can grab the blocks, stay by the wall, staff pose. And so, and if you wanted to take this at home with you for later practices, you can put as many obstacles as you would like to help find that strengthening for your quads. It helps stretch out your hamstrings and have more control of your legs as they are flexed, as well as getting deeper into your lower core here, like more in your pelvic area. Good. Nice. And so we're going to go ahead and place so our shoulders are onto the wall, rotated back into the girdle. Our back is fully engaged and straight. And you can place the blocks by your thighs here. You could possibly have it closer to your hips if that's more comfortable. And if you're on like a blanket or something, I don't remember. No, yeah, I did guide you to be on a blanket. Never mind. Go ahead and find your active staff pose. Find your blocks and find them near your hips. Straighten out through the spine. Point both toes either towards the front of the mat or towards the ceiling as long as they are flexed. Good. Engage to the lower core. Press the hands into the blocks. And then inhale, rise the right foot up towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. And exhale, release. 3 breaths. Inhale, left heels up and right heels pressing into the mat. 3 breaths. Good. Exhale, release. And we're going to kind of swim with this. Inhale, right. And release. Inhale, left. Release. Inhale, right. Release. Inhale, left. Release. And then inhale, right, left. Exhale, release, right, left. Inhale, rise, right, left. Exhale, release, right, left. And do that 3 more times, pressing your hands into the block so that you can help lift yourself off of the mat. And then after you've done your 3 times, just release the pressure. Go ahead, roll up the ankles, roll up the thighs, shake it out, shake it out. Good. Place your feet together. Uh-oh, what are we getting ourselves into? We're going to place our hands onto the block. Feet are flexed up or pointed forward. Either which way, engage to the core. Press your back into the wall, and then inhale, rise. Both toes up towards the ceiling, and we're going to hold it here for 5 breaths. Engage the lower core, engage the quads. And the exhale, release. Hip hinge, forward fold. Whew. Good. And we're going to move forward with our yoga practice since we are coming close to the end of class. But with this practice that we just did, if it's more comfortable, as you have like a block or a book or something to help like press yourself into as you work more with the lower abs, you can also place like a little pillow in between your knees or your thighs to help keep your legs more together and enclosed so that it is a more congruent and more straight line as we move through our hip hinge so that our feet aren't going opposite directions. So just a note to keep that with you tonight. And we're going to use the block for one more core practice here for tonight. So we're going to go ahead and find ourselves onto our spine. You're more than welcome to place a blanket underneath your sacrum if it's a little bony here. Good. And so from here, what we are going to do is we are going to use this asana. I think they call it dead bug. Yeah, I think it's called dead bug. Essentially, you're going to go ahead and bend both knees up and having your shins parallel to the mat here. And you're going to take a block. And let's start with our left thigh. We're going to place the block onto the left thigh. And we're going to place our left elbow pressing into the block here. Good. And as we keep our block pressed into the left thigh, keep the left foot flexed. Good. We're going to straighten our right arm towards the ceiling and the right foot towards the ceiling. And we're going to keep the left thigh pressing into the block. At the same time, our left elbow pressing into the block, keeping this as straight as we can. Our lower spine is going to stay onto the mat here. Good. So as we engage the core, we're going to do this 10 times. We're going to inhale, point the right toes towards the front of the mat, right arm towards the top, hovering. And then exhale, release towards the ceiling. Inhale, extend, having them hover. Exhale, ceiling. Go ahead and do this 8 more times. Your own breath, your own pace, engaging through the quads, the core, keeping the spine glued to
the mat. At the same time, keep pressing the block in between your elbow and the thighs. I'm going to do it for a total of 10 times. Good. And once you've done your 10th one, bend both knees in, hug them, rock side to side. Good job. Once you have yourself rocking side to side, a little reset here. I'm going to take the block up to the right thigh. Right shin is parallel, right foot is flexed. Right elbow is onto the block. Press the thigh and the elbow in. Keep this block sturdy. Bring the left arm up, shoulders onto the mat here, and then extend the left leg up towards the ceiling. For a total of 10 times. Inhale, hover the left ankle above the mat, bring the left arm above the mat. Exhale, release. Inhale, straighten, and then exhale, release. Hi, guy. Good, and do it 8 more times, your own breath, your own pace. Good, just a couple more here. Good, then once you reach your 10, hug the knees in. Move the block to the side or rock side to side. Get the glorious view of my dog's booty on the camera here. My baby. Move this side. And so, as you're here for our final asanas, we worked a lot with our spine, keeping us into place. So we're going to do a little back bend to open up more through the spine. So from here, we're going to grab a block. Good. And we're going to do a more of a restorative bridge. So take the block by your hip, heels close to your glutes, engage through the core, and then inhale, send your hips up towards the ceiling. And it's your choice if you want to stay here in this bridge with your hips up, or if you wanted to kind of make it more restorative, you can place the block onto your sacrum here. And just take about 3 more breaths here. Slowly remove the block from the hips, place them in between the thighs. Bring your arms up to cactus or T, whatever is most comfortable. Send your hips towards the left side, but then drop your knees over towards the right side. Eye gaze over the left shoulder. I count to 3 more breaths. Total of 5. Nicely done. Bring your knees up towards the ceiling and then just scoot your hips over towards the right side and then guide your knees over towards the left. Very gently. We were doing a lot of core work, so the lower back for some of us may feel a little tight. So just taking these couple breaths to decompress from all that work we just did. Good. 2 more breaths. Nice, very gently. Bring your hips back to the center. Remove the block. Last stretch of the day. Point your toes towards the front of the mat. Good. And then inhale, bring your arms above your head for one long body stretch. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale, release. Allow your hands to lie wherever's comfortable, feet wherever's comfortable, and just take these next few moments here in your Shavasana. And then as we are lying here in Shavasana, I found a quote for today to resonate with today's practice. The quote's by Patti Smith. That in art and dream you may proceed with abandon, and in life you may proceed with balance and stealth. So as we begin to create these micro movements from our toes and our ankles and our fingers and our wrists, just allowing us to reawaken from our corpse pose, our Shavasana. You can gently start to bend the knees in towards your chest and inhale, bringing your arms above your head. And then exhale with the cleansing sound. Very softly guide your knees to the side of your body. And very gently coming into a seated position. And as you make your way into a seated position, you can then take your hands to the heart center and give yourself some gratitude for making it onto today's mat, as well as extending our thanks for all the resources that we have so that we are able to participate in these classes and share this experience with ourselves and with all the other climbers in the virtual world here. Peace and health for the rest of your night, and namaste. Thank you all so much for joining in on tonight's class, and hope that for those who wanted a little more oomph and more fire and drive into your practice, that finding some of this creativity to use your props at home to do so. Kind of stumbling out with my sentence, but in general, just hoping that this class influenced you to be a little more creative with what you have at your home so that you can get more of a workout in case just if yoga isn't enough, or if
traditional yoga in that sense. There's yoga in all movement, and movement is yoga. So I hope that this will help inspire you to create more workouts at home. If you have any questions or would like to request any classes, I can't see when I type. Okay. Climbing Santosha is both my Instagram and my Gmail accounts. So you are more than welcome to send me a message if you have any inquiries, requests, questions. Even if you have like recommendations, like, hey, better lighting, speak up, just anything so that we can make this experience a little easier and better for you. And you are welcome, Ashley. Oh, yeah, very all the fire. I am looking forward to feel it tomorrow when I wake up, and let me know how you feel. It's definitely gonna be aware and be active and be alive into your lower body when you wake up tomorrow. And I'm glad. Go ahead and I'll see all of y'all later, and enjoy the Wednesday's yoga and workout, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.